Hey folks, it's Jim, it's Julie, and this lovely lady here is Sonya. Welcome to 2013's Free Comic Book Day review show. Let's get to it, and we're going to start off with Avatar: The Last Airbender. And Star Wars, because Julie likes Star Wars.
Alrighty guys, so as Jim said, this is Avatar: The Last Airbender and Star Wars with a special feature Captain Midnight in the middle. So...
He fights crime at midnight.
Yes.
Not 12:01, just midnight.
Only midnight, that 1 minute period of time.
Yep.
That's when he fights crime. Anyways, so, in this one, at work one day, Mai meets Kalo, a handsome, charming man who manages to convince her to go on a date with him. But what secrets does he hold, and how will this affect the Fire Nation? I liked the Avatar book. I'm not very familiar with Avatar as a...
Great series. If
As
you've
a
never had a
series,
chance to watch it, you gotta watch it.
I watched the movie, but I've been told that it is not very reflective
No,
of
it's not.
the manga and the anime.
No, it's not. Not
That
at all.
said, I did enjoy it. For Star Wars was written by Brian Wood, who's writing the new Dark Horse Star Wars ongoing that has been very, very, very popular and is extremely good. And it's set a little bit before A New Hope. It's bad news bears for Darth Vader when somebody tries to assassinate him on his own ship.
That's always bad news for anyone on any ship that Darth Vader is on.
Exactly. So, this was a good one. I enjoyed the flip book. Here's the Star Wars side so that you know what you're looking for. And I think that it should be a consideration.
Alright, next up we have Mouse Guard, Rust, Labyrinth, Cowboy, and Bolivar. And the stories that are in this one, starting off with Rust. In Rust, we have Jet, who must help some friends get some eggs. In Bolivar tries to find out just what kind of a dinosaur he or she has. I'm not sure what Bolivar is. But, and in the Cowboy seeks justice once again. And in Labyrinth short story, Sir Didymus talks about his day's adventures. Well, in Mouse Guard, we have a little short love story. And I am in love with all of this stuff. It's all beautiful, it's all kid-friendly, and it's just great storytelling and great art all around. So if you have some young ones, do get this one. I really enjoyed it. Okay. All right, Sonya, first review.
Yay!
No jinxie. Woo.
Next up, I have Absolution. It's in a world where the law employs superhumans to fight evil. What happens when one rogue cop starts basically serially killing serial killers?
Ooh, superhero Dexter.
Basically. It contains issues 0 and 1 of this classic series, as well as a preview for the upcoming Absolution Rubicon. And it's basically just full of gratuitous violence, language, blood, gore, sex, etc., etc., etc. But that being said, it's basically vigilante justice in a world where some people just
Let me guess,
killing.
it's Avatar, right? Yeah, it's Avatar.
Avatar
yeah,
it
yeah,
is.
yeah.
And
Blood and violence, that's their thing.
basically, gratuitous blood
Yep.
and violence everywhere. But you know, it was actually really good. It was a compelling story. I'd like to see more of this. I recommend it.
Next up for me is Beware the Batman and Teen Titans Go! In Beware the Batman...
I missed the original Teen Titans.
I like all incarnations of Teen Titans, so I was just as happy with this one as I am with all Teen Titans. In Batman, he learns that Tobias Whale is smuggling guns into Gotham, but Whale's ready for the bat and even has a gift. 1 pair of brand new shoes of the cement variety.
Oh.
How is Batman going to escape his watery grave? And who's really pulling Whale's strings? In Teen Titans, they face off against Mumbo, and that's really...
All you need to know.
Yeah, if you are familiar with Teen Titans, that's all you need to know.
Or Mumbo, for that matter.
I'm a DC fan. I loved it. It's cute and adorable. I'd hit it up for kids 7 to 8 years old, maybe even as young as 6, but that's the area that they're pointing towards.
Alright, next up we have Mega Man and Sonic the Hedgehog, When Worlds Collide, prequel. In this one, 2 universes become one as heroes and villains collide in the prelude to Worlds Collide.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
They're giving
I
us a
said
prelude.
worlds collide a lot. But
Yeah, it's kind of making my brain cells collide.
yeah. But anyway, this basically reprints the lead-in issues of Sonic the Hedgehog and Mega Man that lead into the Worlds Collide crossover that is now ongoing.
Oh, neat.
So if you want to catch up, there's a bit of a catch-up on the storylines for each.
Mm-hmm.
And some really nice art here, some fun storytelling, and you get just a little glimpse into where this crossover will be going.
Oh,
So, if you're a Sonic and or Mega Man fan, check this one out.
Alright, speaking of using the same word many times in a row, I have The Strangers. This book is about a group of strange people protecting the world from strange occurrences. They are mysterious and deadly.
Sounds strange.
It's strange.
Mm,
And this time they're up against their deadliest foe in a great big government conspiracy.
the Stranger?
No, actually.
They are the
They're
strangers.
the strangers.
Ah.
He's the known person?
Anyway,
We're really
it's-
professional.
basically. If you're into government conspiracies, espionage, and the occult, it's an interesting book. I found that the art style didn't do it for me. It wasn't very dynamic, but the story itself was pretty good. So check it out if you're into those kinds of things.
Awesome. Next up for me is Kaboom Summer Blast. This one is a compilation of shorts from Adventure Time, The Regulars, Garfield, Hero Kid and Bear, or Hero Bear and Kid, sorry,
Yep.
Ice Age, and Snoopy and Peanuts, sorry. And in this, the Ice King attacks and steals Finn and Jake's willpower, giving it to us, the reader, in a choose-your-own-adventure Adventure Time story.
Ooh.
Charlie Brown teaches us to draw Linus, and Garfield teaches us about caring for your comics, and many, many more.
I would think that Garfield would want to teach us about eating the proper lasagna.
Well...
Lasagna to mouth ratio, you know?
I'm pretty sure
It's
all
true.
lasagna is proper lasagna.
But he's more concerned at this point with how many lasagnas his comics can get him.
Ah.
Yes. So this one was good. It's a nice, big, thick book and has a lot going on. I really,
It's
really
pretty
enjoyed.
much perfect for all ages as well.
Yeah, I really loved the Adventure Time, Choose Your Own Adventure Time story.
Every time I do those things, I always die. And I don't know what it is.
Don't worry, that's not an option in this one.
That's good.
So, yeah, this one was good. If you like Adventure Time, you should definitely pick it up because I'm fairly certain it is not reprint material. Or at least not yet.
Alright, next up we have the Smurfs. Which,
That's Smurfin' book.
yeah, and judging by the cover, they're really going after Gargamel. I think they want to eat him. I mean, they're beating him with bats, they're poking him with forks, they've got a spear! I mean, wow, the Smurfs are smurfing violent here.
Go big or go home.
Exactly. But anyway, and the story for this one is Gargamel leads an ogre to the Smurf village, and only quick thinking will save them all before they're totally smurfed.
Nice.
Alright, this also includes some short stories with Annoying Orange and Ariel. Yeah.
Not Annoying Orange.
Yeah, Annoying Orange. It's completely dumb. If you rip that out of this book, at least you have the Smurf story and the Ariel story, which is really funny. But I would not recommend Annoying Orange to anyone.
I just find it's annoying.
And
Yeah, that
orange.
too. Yeah. But if you're a Smurf fan, this actually gives you some history as well below each page on the history of the Smurfs and certain
cool.
things about its creator and stuff like that, and some of the other stuff that he created. So it's also a learning experience as you're reading. So I like that.
Nice.
If you're a Smurf fan, it's Smurftastic.
I think you're smurfing exaggerating that one.
Oh, Smurf you.
So after all that, we're taking a turn for the serious over here with Kellerman and Lamour.
When have we ever been serious on this?
Well, you're not
show?
reviewing this one. Anyway, this
Don't
is
die, Julie.
a series of excerpts from two graphic novels. They're adaptations from novels. The first one is Law of the Desert Born, which is basically your classic western. Very graphic, very well done. It's very beautiful. The second one, The Web, It's a psychological thriller. It's very dark and morbid. It's set on a research island with a forest on it, and everything is not what it seems. Boom, psychological thriller, that kind of thing. The writing is excellent. It's really good prose, but it's pretty text heavy. It's not as visual. You can really tell that it's a novel adaptation, but it's still really well done, and I definitely recommend it.
Next up, Finding Gossamer, Stuff of Legend.
Why aren't you picking this book up right now? Get it, now!
We can't yet.
Get in your time machine, go to Saturday, get the book, and then come back and finish watching this.
Yeah.
So, Finding Gossamer does a really fantastic recap of Volume 1.
As well as leading into what we could possibly see in Volume 2.
They set us up and they introduce us to the Lorelarks, a group of entities, for lack of a better word.
True, yeah.
Who are are responsible only to the narrative. So they refer to all people as characters, and they care more about the story playing out as the story is supposed to be than anything else. It's their job in life to maintain the story.
Nor can they interfere or become part of the story.
Exactly.
And
so this was really good. I'm very, very excited for Volume 2 of Finding Gossamer.
I really love
it's just as beautiful as the first one.
I really love the concept of the Lorelarks.
Me too. I love it.
It's just a really interesting concept, especially in the world that has already been created in Finding Gossamer. So
it makes me feel a lot like Pagemaster, though.
Kinda, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
With much less Macaulay Culkin.
Yes.
Which is always a good thing.
Not
Okay,
at all.
all right. Home Alone,
It's
notwithstanding.
sometimes a good thing. But anyways, moving along, Stuff of Legend has a recap of the first 4 volumes, and then introduces us to the next volume, giving us a preview of Volume 5, which it looks to be
And once
focusing...
again, if you're not buying this book, what's wrong with you?
Stuff of Legend Volume 5 focuses on the Indian princess. So, pick this one up for sure, if you like pretty art, and especially if you have smallish children at home.
Alright, more pretty art in Aphrodite 9, number 1. And in this one, hundreds of years after a cataclysmic event, Earth and its inhabitants have been forever altered, and now Aphrodite must choose a side in the world's new conflicts after she is awakened. And boy, this book is absolutely gorgeous to look at. Stefan Sajic has done another beautiful job just drawing characters with so much emotion and just so beautiful to look at as you're going through it. Story-wise, it's not great, but it's absolutely gorgeous to look at. So, at least there's that. I mean, you can't always complain too much about a story as long as you have really nice artwork to look at. And Sajic's art here is just absolutely gorgeous to look at. And I can't highly recommend it for the story because it's really not all there. But I simply adored the artwork in this. So, if you're a fan of Aphrodite 9 and want to see what is happening to lead up into the new series, check this one out. I did enjoy it.
Okay. This is a rotation of pretty art, I guess, because next up I have Grimm, which...
Oh no, a TV adaptation.
Wait. So, Grimm is pretty.
It's so pretty.
That boggles my brain a little bit.
Have you seen the cover? It's nice. The inside's nice too.
Okay.
Anyway, yes, TV adaptation. It gives you a look at the characters and creatures in NBC's Grimm. So here you have a homicide detective who discovers that he is a Grimm. And he is one of the people tasked with controlling the ancient rivalries between humans and creatures of myth. So it's intriguing, it's well drawn, it's well written. As I mentioned, the art is really pretty. And basically, if you're into dark fantasy, this is absolutely the book for you. And bonus content, you also get a preview of Grimm number 1, which is coming out next week, and a reprint of Damsels number 1. So lots to look forward to in this one.
I'm gonna pause for a moment here, guys, to apologize to all of you. I've been really sick for the last week. So
We weren't sure if she would even make it in today, so...
Forgive my coughing fits and all of that jazz, please. Next up for me is Hulk and the Agents of Smash. This is a preview book for a television show airing during Marvel Universe Hour on Disney XD. And this features, surprise, surprise, Hulk. When Annihilus...
Are you surprised?
A little. I was expecting,
Spider-Man?
Yeah, that or, Disney XD. Maybe I would like to see more Tron Uprising. But
That's fair.
yeah.
So, in this, Annihilus is invading, and it's up to Hulk and Red Hulk to stop him. It was good. It looks like a good show. My only complaint with it is that they took screen caps directly from the television show to make the comic book.
Yeah, and that really always turns out badly.
And sometimes it's not as crisp and clean as it could have been. I wish they had put a little bit more effort into
it looks a little bit muddy.
Yes.
Yeah.
But, that said, it's a good story, a good build-up, and there's a secondary sneak peek for a new S.H.I.E.L.D. show that's starting in a couple of weeks. So, pick this one up if you're a big Marvel fan, or if you have kids that are big into Disney XD.
Alright, next up we have an odd one. We have Ramayan. And in this one, 2,000 years in the future, it basically happens 2,000 years in the future and follows the interconnected stories of Rama, Ravan, Hanuman, Sita, Lakshman, and Ramayan.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
a mouthful.
Yeah, I had a hard time pronouncing a lot of what was said in here because it follows a lot of ancient legends from Hindu legend and whatnot. So, yeah, I couldn't pronounce everything, so I'm not even going to attempt. If I did it wrong, I apologize. But this does look really nice. I think my favorite story, just because of how beautiful it looked, was the Sita story, which was the goddess of fertility and everything. And it was just an absolutely gorgeous looking book. And there are quite a few classic artists working on this book. I'm not going to go into names because it would take too long, but there's some great stuff here. And if you're a classic comics fan, you might want to check it out because you don't see these guys working on a lot of books anymore, and it's really nice to see them working on something new. So, and very, very different. So check this one out if you want to see something a little off kilter.
Right.
Or beyond the ordinary, as it were.
Next up from Viz Media, we have Dragon Ball and Rory Kenshin.
Good old Rurouni Kenshin.
Yes. This one is just a reprint of a classic Dragon Ball story. It's kind of an origin story. It's sort of the beginning of how Goku and Krillin started training under Master Roshi. It's a kid book.
Way back.
Yeah, a long time ago. Classic Dragon Ball. It's Goku's sweet and innocent, and it's nice to read about the shenanigans he gets himself into. It's
He
appropriate
didn't
for
start
our
off all
ages.
sweet and innocent.
Yes, he did. Haven't you seen Dragon Ball? He's so cute.
Yeah, but he got hit by a rock and lost his memory. He was supposed to kill all of mankind.
Yeah, but then he was adorable.
Yes.
This story's adorable.
I don't like to think about the part where he was supposed to kill all mankind.
We also forget about that
Yes.
part. Anyway, and Kenshin, we have the story of a former ruthless assassin who's looking to change his life around and basically only draw his sword to protect those in need. This story drops us off right in the middle of a big drama at a high-ranking dojo. It's very cool, it's very Shonen Jump, and it comes with a poster inside. So if you're into Shonen Jump manga, this is for you.
Next up, something very different from all of that. We've got Disney Fairies.
Yeah, that's definitely different.
This one gives us
Do
three
you
shorts.
believe you can fly?
Always.
Okay. Don't attempt that.
I learned that lesson when I was very young. It's a long story, I'm not going to get into it, but I learned when I was 5 that I can't fly. I still like to think that I can, though. In my heart, I soar. So, Disney Fairies gives us 3 shorts featuring lessons about being generous, the importance of friendship, and consequences of being rude. It's geared towards a very, very young audience, and I don't want to give you more than that for fear of really hampering the stories. It's cute. I love the art style. The middle one featuring Rainy, I'm going to say. I think it's Rainy. is fantastic, and I highly recommend this for all small young girls.
I will say though, one thing, the art is really nice.
It's fantastic art.
It's a very European style, and
Yeah.
it really works with those characters.
Yeah. I do believe that these are reprints from other paper cuts,
Yeah.
Disney Fairies materials.
Yeah.
But it's very good, and I really think that for young girls, like 4 to 8, it would be fantastic.
All right. Next up, we have the Steam Engines of Oz. And in this one, in the Emerald City, Victoria Wright, a young mechanic, bucks the status quo and sparks a rebellion. Why are you bucking me?
To spark a rebellion.
Oh, I see.
Well played.
All right. So this one is leading into the Steam Engines of Oz series that's coming from Arcana soon. And I can't highly recommend it.
Sad face. It looks so pretty, though.
It is nice. It is really nice to look at, but you're really dropped into a story without any knowledge of who these characters are. And that hurts it.
Yes.
Me personally, I always like to learn about a character a little bit before you go right into the adventure. But I do recommend it. I mean, it's a different style Oz story, so that's always something good. I just can't get over the fact that they don't really introduce you to the characters as well as they should.
Okay.
So I can't recommend it in that effect, but I do recommend it if you're an Oz fan and want to see something a little bit different.
Okay. Next up from Valiant, we have Valiant 2013 Harbinger Wars. It's basically just a huge preview into everything Valiant 2013. It's got a great review of what's been going on the first page, followed by tons of stuff. Harbinger Wars #1, Exo Manowar #11, Archer and Armstrong #1, Valiant pin-up piece in the middle, Quantum and Woody #1, followed by 2
Can't wait for
interviews.
Quantum and Woody with their mascot goat.
Mascot goat?
Mascot goats, and interviews with 2 of the writers. So it's basically just a rapid-fire Valiant Universe sneak preview into everything. The art's great, the stories are great. It's hard to really get into them though because every single bit is so small that they give you.
Yeah.
So if you just want like little tiny bite-sized introductions into Valiant, this is for you.
Next up, Ugly Doll Comics. When the ugly dolls get hungry, they devise a plan to go to the moon and eat the big blueberry pie in the sky. Meanwhile,
Blueberry pie.
ugly doll bats learn to use their sonar, and we get to learn more about Pokemons.
Yes.
Woo! I hope Tepig's in there.
No, unfortunately
Oh.
not. There was not a Tepic. However, it was really cool how they did the Pokemon stuff. It was all 4 to 6 panel shorts, and then they would give you a bit of trivia off on the side. So you got to learn about different Pokemon's moves and who weighs more and all kinds of neat little factoids about Pokemons.
Huh.
So, if you have a child at home who is desperately into Pokemons, look for the Ugly Doll Comics.
All right. Next up for kids, we have Sesame Street. And yeah,
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street?
5 lefts, then a right, and then 2 more lefts. Go around the circle, then another left.
Stand on my head and do a trick?
That's one of the parts.
Okay.
But you also have to go past the Silent Hill.
Too long,
and-
lost it.
All right. But anyway, this is also a flip book with strawberry shortcake.
How did you get strawberry shortcake?
Because I'm the Muppet guy.
That's unfortunate.
All right. So in the Sesame Street story, which is also in the new Sesame Street #1 this week, Elmo tries to prove to Super Grover that he is a hero. Well, in Strawberry Shortcake, Strawberry gets the blueberry flu,
Oh no.
and it's up to her friends to run the cafe. Disaster ensues.
Oh, that sounds fantastic.
All right. So first up, I'll talk about Sesame Street. It's great. It's a great learning comic. You learn about morals and everything like that. How to be a real hero without being a superhero.
Sesame Street teaches us things?
I know! Mind blown! But the art's really nice. You get a good feel of the characters, which is always good because they look like their TV counterparts. For Strawberry Shortcake, I'll say the art's really nice. It's almost a European style with it, and it almost kind of manga-esque, but with a European flair, and it really works. Story-wise, it's a little underdone, but I mean, it's a little girl's comic, so I'm not going to expect too much. But if you do have a young one that are into...
Wait a second.
Well, okay.
Wait a second.
Okay.
Wait a second. You just said something that we have to discuss.
All right, let's go.
Is it because it's a little girl's comic that you don't expect anything? Would you expect more if it were a little boy's comic?
No, I would not.
Then why specify a little girl's comic? Why not a small child's comic?
It is definitely a small child's comic.
Thank you.
But there you go. All right, I apologize. Anyway, if you have a little one, this is the perfect book for them. Just pick it up. It's a lot of fun.
Right.
Ah.
Now, completely the opposite of children's comics. For this one, we have the story of the Red 10, and I'm gonna actually need you to imagine that I'm winking while I speak. It is the story of a league of superheroes who are fighting for justice in America.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
And
Know what I mean? Know what I mean?
Yeah, basically. And the maniac supervillain who is after them, no doubt to do horrifying things to them. It's basically a dark superhero crime series. This issue basically just introduces all the characters to you, one by one, with entire panel images of them. And what I thought was really cool was that they actually had a different artist do every single superhero's profile and introduction image.
Interesting.
The art was amazing. I really enjoyed that. But it's not the most novel concept. It's not the most original book that we have here. But it is still overall very well executed, and I enjoyed it. So if you're into dark, gory, violent superhero crime drama, perhaps pick this up.
And there's a crossword on the back.
There's a crossword on the back.
Even if you don't like the book, you can do the crossword.
You get to be your own detective. Alright, next up for me is Scratch 9. And when Scratch's human Penelope informs him it's time for his very first bath and to receive his very first color, he, spazzes out.
Like most cats.
Yes, he runs for the door and accidentally runs too far, getting himself lost. Captured by animal control and then sold to the evil doctor scientist Schrodinger to be experimented
Is that his
upon.
name? Evil Doctor Scientist Schrodinger?
No, he's the evil doctor Schrodinger.
Okay.
I loved this book.
It's cute.
I liked it more than I liked Finding Gossamer. It's true, but
Really?
it's cute and it has a kitty as a main protagonist. And
You're just saying that because you have a kitty.
Nuh-uh. I'd say it all the more if I didn't have a kitty.
All right.
It's got a very homeward bound feel to it at times.
Okay.
But it's just cute and adorable and heartwarming. It was probably my favorite book out of all of the ones that I read for Free Comic Book Day. So, if you have a animal-loving child at home, or if you are an animal-loving child, you should definitely take a look for Scratch 9 and watch for it when it comes out in graphic novel in July.
Alright. Next up, we have Mermaids. And in this one, the Little Mermaid has been captured by a cruel wizard who intends to keep her, but help comes to her in the form of a small, one-legged tin soldier who is intent on helping her escape. So you get a couple of different fairy tales mixed up in this one.
Same as most of the other damsels.
True. But this is an actual original story that is also reprinting bits of number 1 as well. So you get this story about how the Little Mermaid escaped this cruel wizard with the help of this tin soldier.
Cool.
And I will say the art's really nice here.
Mm-hmm.
The story's pretty good. I do like the Dark Wizard because he does have a dark story of how he became dark. and lost everything. So I really enjoyed that, and the little tin soldier was also a really interesting character. So if you want to check this one out, I do recommend it.
Okay. Next up, historical zombie stories. Fubar, a series of one-shots from the New York Times best-selling series, is 5 mini-zombie series set throughout different time periods in history. If you're into zombies or want to get into this great series, this is a good place to start. I can't praise this enough. The art is amazing, the story is amazing, and the endings are all very poignant.
It just
Why are you making a face?
It just has a very odd name.
So you're suggesting for a book that's really good that they've misnamed it? It is not Fubar?
Yeah.
In summary, A++ would read again.
Alright. Endangered Weapon B and the Tentacles of Doom is up next for me. And this is a silly, silly book.
I think that might be the longest title we have on the show.
Possibly. Very, very possibly. So this introduces us to the Professor, a not quite right Indiana Jones-esque sort of professor that's just a little kooky and off the wall.
Aren't all professors kooky and off the wall?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a job requirement.
I think you may be correct on that one. It also introduces us to his chief engineer, Tilly, a pretty but hard-edged Polynesian girl capable of building a sentient computer out of wood and natural products. And his manservant, Banjo, a mechanically enhanced bear, as the three of them set out in his Zeppelin to locate the lost libraries of Alexandria. This is a silly book.
Sounds silly.
I really enjoyed it. Oh, I should mention that while locating the lost libraries of Alexandria, they have to fight a ninja squid squad.
That just makes it more weird but awesome at the same time.
A squid squad of 7. So you should definitely look for this one.
I think they need a spin-off right now called Ninja Squid Squad.
It was really good. I enjoyed reading it. It's very, very silly. It's very, very, very English. So if you enjoy Doctor Who or British comedies, that's the sort of feel that you're getting from this. Check it out. Endangered Weapon B and the Tentacles of Doom.
Alright. I can't follow that one. Anyway, next up we have Worlds of Aspen 2013, and where in this one, Aspen shows an old friend the world below, but finds out she is no longer welcomed in either world, and it all leads into the upcoming Elite Saga. And this book also has previews of upcoming Aspen titles. So there's not too much here, it's just a short story that leads into the new Fathom series that's coming out pretty soon. So if you're a Fathom fan, check it out. Otherwise, I can't really highly recommend it, because you will need to know the long history of the character to really get into it. There are some nice previews for the new books upcoming, but you also get those in most of the Aspen books as it is right now. So if you want to check it out, do. I enjoyed it, but you do need to know a really good history of the Fathom character to really get into this one.
Okay. Next up, Bongo Comics Free For All, or as I will call it, a pile of Simpsons comics. So what this is a pile of Simpsons comics. There's a bunch of short stories, including the story of Bart becoming a model citizen for a day, and the adorable bedtime story of the boy who never wanted to shower ever. It's really funny. It's exactly what you'd expect from Simpsons humor.
I think that's the story of pretty much everyone I ever meet at conventions.
Oh no.
Well, Zynga.
Sorry, fans.
Oh no.
Please, shower.
So anyway, if you're into Simpsons humor, you'll love this. As much as all other Simpsons humor, exactly what you'd expect.
Now for something that is not exactly what you would expect. This is Stan Lee's Chakra the Invincible. Set in Mumbai, Chakra is a 14-year-old boy named Raju Rai who is able to harness the mystical forces of the chakra and uses these abilities, including abilities such as firing sparkling beams from his hands and forming impenetrable bubbles around people to save them from doom.
So he's Jubilee with Shadowcat and...
Think more of Alpha.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Alpha, except that he is from India. And this story is entirely set in Mumbai. This is another book from Graphic India, an up-and-coming press company that they have a love for Western comics and want to bring them to India. Props to you guys, and I wish you a lot of success. This looks like it could be really good. We didn't get a lot of story from this, just a brief introduction to Chakra.
Yeah.
But it's from Stan Lee, so it can't be terrible. You should check it out.
Alright. Next up, I have the oddest book probably this week. NFL...
Odder than Julie's. There were squids.
I know, but this one's...
Mechanical bears.
Yeah, but this one has people in the NFL, so...
Okay, his is odd, mine was silly.
Yes. So, this is NFL Rush Zone, which is from the creators of Princeless. Yeah. Get that through your skull. And in this one,
Weird.
young hero Ish must stop the evil Blitzbots from destroying the new 49ers stadium.
Alright.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like we really should have had a guest reviewer on this one.
Yeah, I have learned more reading this about sports than I have known in my entire life. Not that that's a bad thing.
I would love to know if it makes accurate sports references.
It does.
Oh, that's good.
It talks about how they're building the new 49ers stadium, which apparently they are. And it talks about, like, some of the football players, and actual football players are in this. The hero in this book, Ish, he fights alongside the mascots of each team, which are also superheroes.
The mascots are superheroes?
Yes. And they fight against an evil, like, corporation trying to destroy the NFL. So...
I think in a head-to-head competition that your book would beat out Endangered Weapon B for silliness.
Yeah. There's nothing bad about this book. It's a good story. It's fun. But as someone who doesn't understand sports, I was a bit confused. But I still had a lot of fun with it. And since this is the artist of Princeless doing this, it's really nice to look at. And it's a fun adventure. So, if you're an NFL fan, looking for something for a little guy or a little girl that are fans of the sport, this is a pretty good introduction, and it's got a really good character that you can feel for. So I do recommend it. As well, it also comes with a small preview of a book we reviewed last year before it even got released, called Skyward by Jeremy Dale.
Cool.
But this time in color. So if you want to check that one out, because it's a fantastic book that everyone should read, just as everyone should read Princeless. So check NFL Rush Zone out, because it's a silly little story, but it is a lot of fun. And that's really saying a lot from someone who doesn't know anything about sports.
Okay. This book takes us back down to earth a little bit. It is an excerpt from an upcoming book. It's the story of a group of kids who were growing up in the 1960s. And what it is basically just a really sweet slice of life sort of story. It's a pretty short excerpt, but even within this book, you really get to start to get a feel for the characters and really relate to them. And it has a sort of nostalgic feel about it. It's very minimalistic, black and white, super cute. It's appropriate for all ages, but I wouldn't say that it's really directed towards children, because it does kind of ask you to both read and think about what you're reading. And at the end, you have an essay that basically contextualizes the setting and the characters a little bit more for you.
That's
so
cool.
it's a really sweet book. I really enjoyed it. It was one of my favorites that I reviewed.
Next up for me is Infinity from Marvel. And I'm going to be a little cheap, guys. I'm going to show you this book cover. I'm going to suggest that you pick it up because it is a preview for the Infinity series coming out in August. But that's all I'm going to tell you because it's so fast-paced in the preview that I don't want to spoil anything. It also contains a cute reprint Thanos story between Thanos and the Destroyer, and
They're best friends.
Yes, the bestest of best.
Yes.
I think you guys should check this one out if you're looking for Marvel books. It was really good, and I think that Infinity is going to be great.
Alright, let's go with some heroes in a half shell, shall we? It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And this one is based off the new TV series, which if you haven't seen yet, is fantastic.
Cowabunga.
Actually, they don't say cowabunga anymore.
What?
Which basically ruins the show.
Yeah, well, trust me, watch the show, make a judgment for
I'm
call for
crushed.
yourself.
Is it still
But-
basically all about pizza?
Well, they discover pizza, yes. So, yeah. But watch the show, you'll have a lot of fun with it. It's probably the best Turtle series out yet. But in this one, the Turtles must learn to work together. But this time, they also must use each other's weapons
Oh.
to basically take down the robots of Baxter Stockman.
Interesting.
So, yeah, so you get to see the Turtles using each other's weapons to very bad effect. Which, of course, you have to expect because they were trained only on certain
Yes.
weapons. So, this is a lot of fun. There's some really good one-liners in here. There's some really good art as well. If you're a fan of the new series, this is the perfect introduction to it. So, check it out. I quite enjoyed it.
Right. Next up, 2000 AD. It's a series of shorts set in the Judge Dredd universe. It deals with a whole bunch of situations, ranging from a Judge Dredd impersonators club to dimensional instability issues.
Basically reprinting a lot of classic Dredd stories.
Basically, it's a great book. It contains 6 different short stories as well as a whole bunch of bonus content, and there's a lot of different stories, tons of different topics, excellent art throughout the book. And basically, if you're into the Judge Dredd universe at all or would like to get into it, this is a great thing to look into.
Alright, we're coming down to the nitty-gritty here, folks.
Last one for me today is Superman, Last Son of Krypton. When a mysterious vessel falls from the sky, it's up to Supes to, once again, save Metropolis. But who's the little boy that's contained inside the vessel? Is he actually Kryptonian as he appears? And what is the military doing with this little boy? This was a good book. I enjoyed it. It's your classic Superman sort of story. It has a very, very classic Superman feel to it, which was really nice to see. More of a sketch art than a hard line. It just felt really nice. And I think that it was a really good read. Also, quickly, while I'm thinking about it, I'm going to make a note for you guys. Free Comic Book Day at Comic Connection in Hamilton. We are going to be featuring Ken Lashley, who's worked with Marvel, DC, LucasArts. He worked on Transformers. He's worked with G.I. Joe, creating new action figures, and many, many, many more. Is going to be here with us from 11 a.m. until 12:30 on Free Comic Book Day, which is this Saturday, May the 4th. And you don't want to miss that.
Nope. Alright. So, next up and last for me is the Princeless and Molly Danger. And in Molly Danger, Molly must save the city of Coopersville from the giant robot controlled by the evil madman, Medulla. Well, in Princeless, on the way to save her sisters, Adrian saves another princess, but learns she may be trouble for her later when she learns just who her father is.
Dun dun dun!
Alright, so we have a new series coming from Action Lab called Molly Danger, and it's a lot of fun. It's a standard superhero story, but with a little bit of a twist, and I like that twist. I'm not going to spoil it, but I did like this twist, and it's really nice artwork here by Jamal Eagle. Princeless, as always, fantastic. Lots of fun. If you're not reading yet, what's wrong with you? Go out and pick up Princeless. I just love the series to death. This is a really good introduction to these two series. So if you have young preteens, I think this would be a perfect introduction to these two series. So check this one out. I quite enjoyed it.
And last overall, from Dark Horse, we have 3 different things. We have RIPD, we have Killjoys, and we have Mass Effect on the other side. So I'm just going to start with RIPD. This is basically a seance goes horribly wrong and everything's not what it seems, or alternatively, not everyone is who they seem. It's a little complicated. But it's a great story of supernatural drama, and the art direction's really great, so you should totally check it out.
And the movie looks hilariously silly.
And that. And on the same side as that, we have Killjoys, which is a sneak peek into a highly anticipated upcoming series. It's a brief look into a futuristic police state where you are always being watched and no one is safe. It's fast-paced, it's dark, it's mysterious, and it drops us off at a very climactic moment in the plotline that definitely leaves me wanting more. I loved this, you should totally read it. And flip side, Mass Effect. This is a sort of background story into the Mass Effect universe. It looks at how Jeff Joker Moreau, straight out of flight school, went and broke a couple rules in an attempt to prove that he's the only one capable of piloting the Normandy. Shenanigans ensue.
So he did a Wesley Crusher then.
Anyway, funny, fast-paced, great background story for Mass Effect if you're into that series. Definitely check it out. And overall, good show from Dark Horse.
And guys, if you're in Hamilton and can't make it out to meet Ken, don't worry, because we are going to have tons of sales going on, lots of fun happening here at the Comic Connection. You should swing by, pick up some free comic books, say hello, all that jazz. I'm fairly certain that I've convinced Kermit that he should make a guest appearance.
I'm pretty sure Kermit will be around.
And you can come help us support the Canadian National Autism Foundation and the Diabetes Association. So come on down. It'll be tons and tons and tons of fun. That's this Saturday. We're open from 10 until 5. And yeah.
That's it. So be sure to come down to your local comic book shop, pick up some free comics. Don't forget, you can buy some comics too, because that would be a great idea. Support local business. Because don't forget, Free Comic Book Day may be free for you, but it's not free for us. Support the local businesses that will be helping you to become a new reader. We'll see you next week. Have a good one. Also available this Free Comic Book Day, Buck Rogers, Bleeding Cool Magazine, Mr. Puzzle, rated free for everyone, Dread Classics, Overstreet Comic Book Marketplace, Pippi, SpongeBob Freestyle Funnies, Top Shelf Kids Club, The Tick, Action Time Buddies, The Walking Dead, Valiant Masters, Prince Valiant, and World of Archie Digest. Be sure to go and pick up your free comics this weekend.